My parents turned my father's gubernatorial campaign launch into a public therapy session about my supposed failures in front of 400 wealthy donors. 10 minutes later, the entire campaign was financially bankrupt, and every political reporter in the state knew exactly why. I am the older sister, the one my mother perpetually analyzed. My younger sister, Isabel, was the undisputed golden child because she married a senator's aide and looked perfect on flyers. My dad's classic move during conflicts was staring at his legal pads, pretending he was deaf. I forged my own path regardless. I started fixing laptops in my dorm. Over 10 years, I scaled that into a premier cybersecurity firm that secures digital assets for political action committees. My mom still treated me like a minimum wage tech support employee. We hadn't spoken since she told her country club friends my business was a cute computer hobby. Then a VIP lanyard arrived with a note from my dad asking me to support his run for governor of Pennsylvania. I drove 3 hours to Philadelphia, foolishly hoping for a truce. The launch was at the Liberty View Ballroom. Sweeping spotlights, a brass band, an open bar, yet my assigned seat was in the absolute back row of the press pit, shoved behind television cameras. When I mentioned I was the candidate's daughter, a volunteer actually laughed. My mom squeezed my arm in passing and whispered, "Please don't talk to the journalist tonight." Not a greeting, just a warning. The speeches commenced. My dad took the podium before a giant flag. He talked passionately about family values, resilience, and overcoming adversity. Then he gestured toward the dark back of the room. "We all have family members who struggle to find their way," he projected. "My oldest daughter spent years lost in the digital wilderness, bouncing between gig economy jobs, struggling to find real purpose." The wealthy donors murmured sympathetically. My dad gripped the podium. "But as a family, we never gave up on her. We provided the safety net she desperately needed. If I can fix my broken household, I can fix this state." My sister nodded solemnly. My mom wiped a rehearsed tear. I didn't cause a scene. I stood up slowly, left my lanyard on the chair, and walked out the heavy side doors into the staging area. A frantic campaign treasurer was hyperventilating at a folding table, violently tapping his laptop. I casually glanced over his shoulder. The sleek geometric logo on his frozen portal hit me like ice water. It was Aegis Protocol, my company. My exact firm had been anonymously contracted by his super PAC to secure their $4.2 million crypto donor wallet. My father had just used me as a political punching bag at a rally funded by an account my servers actively controlled. I pulled out my phone, typed my biometric password, and accessed the master dashboard. One swipe. I walked directly over to the treasurer and said, "Your compliance verification just failed." I triggered a complete security freeze on the PAC's assets pending a 90-day federal review. Then I stood by the loading dock. First, the treasurer's phone started vibrating uncontrollably. Next, the event coordinators whispered frantically into their headsets. Then the catering manager marched toward the stage, waving a bounced transfer notification. Finally, local journalists in the pit started getting news alerts about the campaign's suddenly frozen assets. The brass band stopped playing mid-song. The silence was heavy. My dad stepped away from the podium, his polished smile completely dissolving. I watched my parents' faces shift from arrogant triumph to absolute panic. They rushed off the stage into the staging area, finding me standing calmly next to the weeping treasurer. My dad reached me first. "What the hell is going on with the PAC funds?" he demanded. I kept my voice deadpan. "Your digital wallet is secured by Aegis Protocol. I am the CEO. Since you just publicly declared on a hot microphone that I am an unstable dependent, federal regulations require me to immediately freeze your assets due to compromised leadership." My mom gasped, her face crimson. "You can't be serious. You are destroying your father's career. Turn it back on right now." I looked my dad in the eyes and said, "I am permanently done being the tragic backstory for your ambition." I walked out to the parking garage. I didn't feel a single shred of guilt. Within 48 hours, the campaign hemorrhaged its biggest donors and my dad officially withdrew from the race. His lawyers threatened to sue me, but my legal team buried them in airtight compliance stats. He lost the only thing he ever truly valued, his pristine public image. 2 weeks later, my sister emailed me begging to talk. I deleted it without reading. For once, my parents tried to use my life as a cheap prop, and the curtain came down exactly when I decided